Hey there, Tess. It's Sheila. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, good.
I noticed that we're already streaming live to a YouTube service.
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure if we're being recorded on that feed or not, so I've been trying to use the chat box.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I'm I'm just not sure. We have two things
Yeah.
going at once.
Is it better if I'm listening in to use the YouTube service
That's
than the
a
Zoom?
personal choice.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll just use this because I know it
yeah,
works.
exactly, exactly. Shabbat shalom. Be well, though. I saw your note.
Oh, I know. It's just it's awful. And I don't think I'll be able to sit up for 2 hours. So I thought I'd just hang out and listen.
Under, understand. I'm going to mute.
Yeah. Okay.
Tess had a problem. She looked like wiping her nose and her face.
Morning, Ellie.
And so more good Shabbos, Larry.
Good Shabbos. It's good to see you.
Yeah, same here. How is Celeste doing?
Unfortunately, not very well.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. One day good, one day okay. And
Yeah, I want you to see something. I told you the shoes were style. Look at the picture shoes. I have the same shoes you would have. Because white bottoms are not allowed. Thank you.
So, y'all, I'm checking to see if our chatting is being recorded out to YouTube yet or not. I have a feeling we have 2 YouTubes today. And from what I can see, our internal YouTube might not be on yet. So if you like to chat with each other, I think it's safe. Just don't cuss. You wouldn't anyway.
Song for ascent, the infinite restored the fortunes of Zion. We were as dreamers, our mouths filled with laughter, our tongues in song. The nations will say how the infinite has raised them up. The infinite will raise us up and we will be happy. Make our return, infinite one, like the stream suddenly gushing in the negative. May those who sow with tears harvest with song. In tears, the sower walks back and forth carrying the basket of seed. May the farmer return carrying the harvested sheaves, singing. We've been for the past several weeks singing the words of Psalm 126 before beginning worship, marking this transition back to gathering together in person. The psalm is both a statement of hope and of anticipation, recognizing the challenges that we've been through and looking hopefully toward a future where we can all be together in sacred space once again. There's a line in Psalm 126 that I love, and those of you who have been to Israel, especially during the rainy season, might be able to conjure up the image. It's Shuvah Adonai et Shivitinu Ka'afim B'Negev. Make our return, infinite one, like the stream suddenly gushing in the Negev. If you've been in Israel during the rainy season, during the winter, you may have even seen this or experienced it, or if you've been there during the summer and traveled in the Negev desert, you've seen the grooves cut out from the desert by these streams, sometimes even with little pieces of grass sticking up out of them. Think of the desert as a barren place, but sometimes, and sometimes quite suddenly, rivers appear in the desert in Israel. And so this psalm invites us to imagine a return that might start as a trickle, but then coalesce into a flood. It evokes also an image that we have within our worship, Havi'inu l'shalom me'arba kanfot ha'aretz, that God will bring us in peace from the four corners of the earth. And when we sing that line in our worship, as we will a little bit later this morning, it's customary for those who are wearing a talit, those who are wearing a prayer shawl, to gather the four quarters of their talit together. because it reminds us that our redemption is linked to our connection to one another as a people. Individually, we can perform great things, but our true strength lies in our ability to forge together as a collective. One drop can't make an ocean, but an ocean can't be made without all of those drops. Well, Theo, today you take your drop and add it to the Jewish people's ocean. You take your string and tie it together to make the tzitzit, to make these fringes, to become part of a larger adult Jewish community. And so we celebrate and mark that moment by presenting you with and placing on your shoulders your talit, which, even though you wore it to help lead services last night, this will be the first official moment in which you place it on your shoulders, reminding you of the responsibilities that you place on your shoulders now as you become a bar mitzvah and celebrate becoming a bar mitzvah, and recognizing that you are now joining your one string to the great fabric of the Jewish people, your one drop to the great ocean of the Jewish people that can't be complete without you. And now, in your life, you can be complete along with us. Invite Ari and Becky to Lima with the talit. And why don't you come and stand just opposite them? So why don't you all stand in the middle of the Lima. And Ari and Becky, why don't you face Theo? And Theo, why don't you face them? Okay? Hold up the talit so that the top is facing you. There you go. Just, yeah. Perfect, just like that. Yeah, face it to him. No, the other way. There you go. Okay, hold on 1 second. We're going to do the blessing, and then you can place down the shoulders. Okay. So we'll be after you. Baruch, Atah, Adonai, Eloheinu, Melech, Haolam, Asher, Yitzhanu, V'mitzvotav, V'tzivanu, V'hitatei, V'tzitzi. Amen. Beautiful talits. And we hold on 1 second, Theo. You're going down come on. We say, Kishem Sheh, Tikanes, the Mitzvot, then you can ace the Torah, so we just as you reach this moment of accepting responsibility for fulfilling commandments, so too we merit for the light of Torah, meaningful and respectful relationships and not seem to lead to goodness and righteousness. The beauty of this as well. We'll continue our worship on page, or begin our worship on page 147. Maybe seated, page 151. Baruch Baruch Etiko Neshama Gano Etiko Malei Olam Tikuna Sovevi Moto Ami Gaya Hayot Amor Shinera Bekaro Lavone Kabel Rine Tiso Zesevera Kamine Kevoto Tori Meora Chepara Elohim Zaram Veda Bevina Ulaske Private meeting, 156. Middle of page 150. Customary to rise, thought of the page 158. Follow the blessing at the bottom of the page, we'll continue on together with the Amidah, which begins page 159.
Sword Israel, Ruma Ezrat Israel, Uteinu Mehad, Yehuda Israel, Lord Yonai Yisrael Shemo, Kedosh Israel, Baruch Adonai, God Israel. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech avotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Hayel HaKol HaGibor HaTorah, Eloheo, U'omer Chosanim Tovim, B'nei HaKol, B'zocher Hasei Avot, U'megid Ohanim Le'nehem, Le'na'an Shelo Ve'ahava, Melech Ozer Choteinu Moshiach B'nei. Baruch atah Adonai, Anei Avraham, U'vokei Sarah, Atah Gibor Elam Adonai, Mechayim Nitzi Hazara V'Moshiach, Ori Atah, Mechabel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayim Nitzi B'Rachamim Rachim, Somer Nofim B'Rofem Choli, U'Matir Asurim, U'Mekayem Emurato V'Shenei Achar, Al Yehudot U'Mido Melah, Elohim Mechayem, U'Matzmiach Yeshua, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayem Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzvaot, Melech kol haaretz Eloheinu. Baruch Kevod Adonai,
Maybe seated. We'll turn to page 112 to recite the Psalm for Shabbat. by those in the morning and those in the yard sites and all wish to say Kaddish to rise to the people and unmute yourselves as you are willing. Mourners Kaddish, page 121. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Ve'alma, Zikra, Kirute, Yamit Malchute, V'chayechon, Yomechon, Monuchaye, V'chobet Yisrael, V'agalau, Yizman Karim, Yimru, Amen. Yehi, Shmei, Rabban, Borach, Ve'olam, Omeah, Hayah, Yibarach, Yishtabach, Yiba'ar, Yitromach, Yibnaseh, Yitadar, Yitaleh, Yitalal, Shemei, Yisham, Richu. Ve'ela mikol v'shirata v'shvachata v'nechmata ta'miranu ve'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabba v'shmaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom yirama hallelujah oseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the one who makes peace on high make peace for us, for all Israel, for all who dwell on earth. And let us say amen. You may be seated. We'll turn now to the Torah service. It begins on page 168. Theo steps to the lectern to lead us, page 168.
Adonai Malach, Adonai Malach, Adonai Eres, Adonai Eres, Adonai Machsham, Achar Achim Etzira, Betzaycha Etzi, Tinechanu Yerushalayim, Tinechanu Yerushalayim, Tinechanu Yerushalayim.
We are servants of the Holy One, we revere in His precious Torah, we revere in every time and place. Not on mortals we rely, nor on angels we depend, rather on God of the universe, the God of truth. His Torah is truth, whose prophets are truth, and who abounds in deeds of goodness and truth.
Touch me.
Shema Yisrael, Adonu Elohim, Adonu Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Elohim,
Echad Elohim, Gadol Elohim, Kiddush Shemo.
Echad Elohim, Gadol Elohim, Gadol Shemo.
Gadol Elohim. Gadol Elohim, Iti Yachdav. Remember,
May be seated. Our Torah reading for this morning, our parsha this morning is Parshat Achrei Mot Yoshim, the double portion, which begins in the aftermath of the death of Aaron, the high priest's two sons, Nadav and Abihu, and continues through the discussion of a number of important laws, culminating in where we will put our focus this morning on Parshat Yoshim, the portion of holiness, sometimes called the Holiness Code, detailing how we live holy lives and how we build a holy society. Page 693 in the Eitz Chaim, page 497 in the Hertz Kamash, page Leviticus chapter 19, verse 1 is where we'll be beginning this Shabbat once again. In the Lord's Red volume, the Eitz Chaim, page 693, in the Lord's Blue volume, the Hertz, page 497.
Amen.
We honor with the first Aliyah, Theo's grandparents, Karen and Jay Schonfeld, and Harry and Louis Hirsch. Amen. Amen. Send Sharkoach and Mazel Tov to our lives, those in our community who may be in need of healing. If you have someone for whom you are praying the Shabbat, I invite you to rise as you are able. And I'll begin by offering the traditional words of prayer for healing. Pause and put the names on our congregational list. That's a good opportunity for you to hold in your thoughts. Anybody for whom you might be praying the Shabbat. Whether or not you have anybody in particular in mind, I invite you to join me in the Rose Pledge. She leads us in the English words of prayer. We were here to believe that you are taking you.
Bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing, with the Shema, the renewal of the body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Pray that all those in need of healing experience full, complete recovery of body and spirit. For those Shabbat is a time which you normally refrain from petition. Nevertheless, we pray that healing is again aided by the spiritual strength that Shabbat affords. Let's say, Amen. Good one who blessed our ancestors, bless all those who put themselves at risk to care for the sick, physicians and nurses and orderlies, technicians, home health aides, EMTs and pharmacists, chaplains and social workers, who navigate the unfolding dangers of the world each day to tend to those they have sworn to help. Be also with all those who labor in the midst of this pandemic, shelter those who grow our food in the field, guide and peace those who deliver basic needs by road, track, and air, uplift those bent low, bearing loads in manufacturing and sanitation, send love to those who connect us through wire, wave, and cable, provide companionship to those who work in solitude, ease to those who work in anguish, safety to those who step into harm's way, dignity to all those whose labor benefits us. Bless them when they're coming home, and bless them when they're going out. Ease their fear and sustain them. Source of all breath, healer of all beings, protect them and restore their hope. Strengthen them that they may bring strength. Keep them in health that they may bring healing. Help them know again a time when they can breathe without fear. Bless the sacred work of their hands. May this plague pass from among us speedily and in our days, and let us say, Amen.
Yeah, dude. Theo Hirsch, Mordechai, Sarah Bar Yosef, Ali Ashkenaz.
Now, honor Theo's parents, Ari and Maggie, with the second Aliyah.
Altitude Alpine will be Masiha, World also, and Army and the heat is about to, the bar shall be by the noise, personal hand is about to, fire, partially, fire, is how fast, feel, rock, 100 car, arguing, the end is to raise the end. I am who not feel I am she people who will yourself with love upon them some he and true dash I know will when it comes to our net the shorty may man the cuckoo trip and I could see in Archer and whoa, the hallway, the art, the hall, so the like a kid's a car, whoa, the lucky, the honey hall, whoa, the whale, sir, the honey hall, whoa, the kid. When I need no care, cause the little hall, I need a little whoa, no, what the true, what is true, you can't tell, whoa, you should shock it if you are talking that you know, thanks on what show every alpha, the world, so, or tell me, who are happy, it's a car, I don't care, love, the way, hey, Seriously, even well, teaching Masakha show we are ready from your friend on the other wall.
Amen. We'll now invite Ari and Maggie to the Imam to offer Theo some words of blessing on this special day. Oh, why don't you grab the microphone? Here you go.
We are so proud of you. You worked so hard towards this day. Your commitment and dedication to your Jewish learning is truly commendable, and we are so impressed. When you started this journey, your dad and I knew today as an individual rite of passage. The celebration of your 13th birthday, the age in which you assumed the role of responsibility in the Jewish community, and the culmination of your hard work and dedication. However, as it's taken on even more meaning. Watching you enjoy learning and discussion, my encounter, fulfillment that it's given you, has been a total joy to observe. This week's Torah portion is from Leviticus, a rule book of the Torah. Those who know you well and understand you would probably agree this is your book. It provides structure and purpose to life. It explains many rules, why we do and don't do certain things. Also, it explains how we can elevate daily life to a higher moral ground. And this is you. You are the type of person who helps me through the first without me asking, or who stops in the hall at school and helps someone pick up their pencil case that's fallen and scatter pencils across the floor. In fact, your first grade teacher told me she saw something she had never seen another child do. You offered a classmate to go in front of you in the line to recess. When everyone was getting ready to get outside, you offered someone else to go first. You always do what you think is right. You are good-hearted and honest. You follow the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. In Judaism, this is a rule of altruistic reciprocity. This is something I wish I could add to, but I believe it's just innate in you. Throughout lower school, teachers used to stop me and say, Theo is so sweet. He is just the sweetest child. I read it on every report card. I heard it at every parent-teacher conference. I heard it so often that it actually became irritating. Theo is so sweet, they would say. I know, he's the absolute sweetest, I would reply. I even remember saying to your dad, do the teachers have anything else to say? Are they able to use any other adjectives? In true Jewish mother fashion, regarding my children, I was waiting for some more substantial compliments. As time has gone by and my presence in the halls of school has lessened, don't see your teachers regularly or have off-the-cuff conversations anymore. Your report cards reflect your good grades and they say more specific things about your achievement and accolades. However, your good nature and demeanor is still mentioned. Recently, I realized that it was not that the teachers had nothing else to say. It was that they all picked up on something about you. Your positive attitude, your kind treatment of people around you, your glass half full outlook on life, and of course, your sweetness. This is inherently who you are. We love you so much. You are one of a kind, funny and creative. We laugh together a lot. It's an absolute pleasure having you as a son and witnessing your growth. We hope that you will continue your Jewish studies throughout your life for the sheer joy of studying, for answers and for questions, and mostly for hope, for a bright and happy future.
My turn. Theo, I'm so proud of you. You are smart and kind, you exhibit the ability to empathize with others, show compassion to the world around you. While these qualities set you apart, there's another strength that we see in you. You are resilient. In the face of a challenge, you rise to the occasion and succeed. You will keep at something until you get it. This resilience will serve you well throughout life. Theo, you are named for my mother, who you share the same initial with, Terry Schumann Hirsch. She would have been so proud of you today in a way. She would have loved you.
She would have loved everything about you, your creativity, your humor, and your sweetness. And a phrase she used often, she would have just eaten you up. I believe she would have rebelled a lot. We all do. We love you so very much, and we're so proud.
All right, Megan, why don't you just stay there for a moment so that we can really hold on to this moment as fast as we can because it goes by so quickly. And so there is a blessing that we offer in times like these when we really want to cherish and make sure our mind's eye, our hearts capture this moment. It's a blessing known as Shabbat. I invite you to join with me and invite the rest of your family to also rise as well as you're able to join in the prayer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehachiyanu v'kiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Praise are you, infinite our God, sovereign of the universe, who has kept us alive, sustained us, and brought us to this special moment. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Please remain standing or please rise as Tanner leads us in the thoughts of God.
Ani Adonai. World, yes, world, show every alpha, world, soul, world, tell me, you are tell me, it's a heart I go here, world, aware, perish with the event, world, keeping, it's a heart, we show, we are ready, tell me over, Ani Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam v'chayinu v'chayinu Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Torah.
Then Arvid Sarah. Shani Diana Mitzvah, the lion put on a company, but at the right, really put on Shabbat. I got a sharp, you should have the Hayat, the Hayehu, if one enemy will be of Shaman. Not a night, but I put the right to love the Pinaha, the Ishmore Mitzvah, the Amits, the so as you go, the Yotan, and Abu, who neglect and Koyam, the Penokasa Rahamim. ונחווה חורלה, ושלח הצלחה, וכל מעשה ידיו, יהי רצון שיזכורה, וגדול לתורה, וחופה ומעשים טובים, ונאמר
Amen. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless Theo Hirsch, who has been called to the Torah on reaching the age of mitzvot with reverence for God and the Torah and Shabbat. May the Holy One protect and sustain him, helping him to be wholehearted in his faith, to study Torah, to fulfill mitzvot, and to walk in God's ways. May he have the strength to find his calling, to be a person who is both loving and beloved, and may he find love and compassion today and every day in your eyes, and the eyes of all who see him. May his parents continue to rear him to maturity, guiding him to a love of Torah, to the blessing of loving and respectful relationships, and to a life of masim tolim, deeds of goodness and righteousness. And let us say, Amen.
Theo, Mazal Tov. You did it. It was awesome. So we're gonna present to you a bar mitzvah certificate. You can just show it to everyone who's out there. So you will never forget this day and this core portion of yours and your chanting. And also a book from the rabbi and I, so you can continue your Jewish learning. I want to say to you, it's been a pleasure learning with you. We had a whirlwind of a year, learning virtually on Zoom, lots of laughter, lots of tech challenges, but we got through it, and it was lots of fun, and we worked very, very hard, Theo, and I know you didn't just work hard with me, but with your family, so it's been really a wonderful journey, and look forward to continuing. I hope all of you as my witness, I hope that Theo will chant again, look forward to teaching you your Haftorah as well, doing some Haftorah in the future, so we're excited for that. It's wonderful. Mazel tov.
We'll invite Stacy and Hayden Kaplan forward to lead us in a prayer for peace, which you can find in your prayer book, page 178. Stacy and Hayden here? Oh. Who comes to this microphone right here?
May we see the day when war was 18. 100 peace will embrace the whole world, when the nation will not threaten nation, and human family will not end no war. For all who live on earth shall realize we have not come to be able to aid or destroy. We have come to be praised, labor, and to love. Compassionate God, bless the leaders of all nations with the power of compassion. Fulfill promise made in the scripture. I will bring peace to the land, and we shall one shall share fire. I shall rid the land of let justice reign. Let God peace the whole earth, as the water filled the sea, and let us all say, Amen.
Customary to just go off with you. It's customary to rise as the ark is open. In conclusion of Torah service, page 183. Oh, excuse me. Well, it's customary to rise anyway. I you to remain standing as the ark is open and we return to the sacred towards the ark, page 183. As the ark is closed, you may be seated. Now, blessed to invite Theo to share with us some words of Torah.
Good morning.
Good, just wait 1 second. Let's
Good morning. When I look around this room, I see family and friends, which means a lot because we haven't been together in a while. In until times like this past year, it takes rules and order to keep our lives from not falling apart. Over the last year, our world was turned upside down. Many of us have lost someone or know someone who has. Though this pandemic, I have seen a lot, and I am not just talking about Netflix shows. I have seen so much resilience in everyone around me. I see people who are tired and depressed from the pandemic, but put on their masks and keep on moving. It is inspiring. And I have seen how when we follow the rules, we can keep ourselves and each other safe. Following health and safety rules have enabled us to be here today. My parsha is Achim Kiddush from the book of Leviticus, a book of rules. Leviticus is book 3 of the 5 books of Torah. It is located in the middle of the Torah. And the lessons from this book seem like they are central for a reason, as if they are the heart of the Torah. Parshat Achrayot Kedoshim begins by referring to the death of Aaron's sons, who were punished for the offering of sacrifice before the altar, disobeying God's instruction. God instructs Moses and Aaron on the procedures surrounding the Kippur, a day of atonement. God tells Moses that he was the only one, alone, permitted to enter the sanctuary, the Holy of Holies. This leads us into chapters 17 through 26 of Leviticus. These chapters are known as the Holiness Code. And this is what I was referring to as the heart of the Torah. It contains the ritual and ethical practices that one must carry out to live a sacred or holy Jewish life. For example, there are laws about observing Shabbat and holidays, not worshiping idols, and offering sacrifices acceptably. There are also ethical rules, like leaving the corners of fields for the poor, and not keeping the laborers' wages overnight. We are also taught not to mock people, not to trick, and not to intentionally trick up or try to manipulate people. We are told not to steal, lie, or swear. Pretty basic, right? Well, not all these rules are so simple and clear. For example, don't keep a laborer's wages overnight. Why is that a rule? What does it mean? How can we interpret it? The meaning is to give someone the money that they have earned right away so that they can sleep, eat, and be safe. Leaving corners of the fields for the poor may not be something we do in this exact way anymore. Today, we practice this rule through giving tzedakah, giving some of what we make to those who are less fortunate. Don't profit by the blood of your fellow means that we shouldn't pursue a livelihood that endangers someone else. Don't profit from someone else's suffering. But if the rules are not all self-explanatory, can't any rule be interpreted by anyone in an infinite amount of ways? Throughout history, people have used religion as an excuse to do horrible things to other people. An example of this is in the American Civil War, where Jews in the South thought that slavery was okay because in the Torah it says that people can have slaves. Is this a good interpretation? No. The question is, how do we make sure that we are interpreting these correctly? If you remember, I mentioned that these laws are called the holiness code. That's because they're introduced by the commandment. You shall be holy, for I, the Lord, your God, am holy. These laws are the details for how we live a life of holiness. The instructions of Leviticus emphasize ritual, legal, and moral practices rather than beliefs. We interpret them in such a way that enables us to be holy by doing it. If we interpret these practices in a way that is not in the best interest of others or what religion was meant for, then we are not interpreting them correctly. To me, holiness means living your life as best as possible, helping others as much as you can, and striving to harm anyone. Another example of one of the rules is don't put a stumbling block in front of the blind. This could be interpreted literally or figuratively, but if we interpret it as a way of being holy, of helping other people and not harming them, we can take it to mean not tricking someone into doing something because they don't see our agenda or purpose. In other words, be forthcoming and helpful. This brings me to my Mitzvah project. I chose to do something that I interpreted from these rules as a way to help others who are suffering from food insecurity. The COVID pandemic from food insecurity. The COVID pandemic has made food insecurity worse than ever. Millions of children are living with hunger because of the pandemic and school closures. Childhood hunger is a solvable problem. We can all do something. I chose No Kid Hungry, a national organization that is dedicated to ending childhood hunger. I committed myself to bike a certain amount of miles weekly, and I collected donations for the organization. I raised over $5,000. This is something that I would like to continue annually. And next year, I would like to get businesses and corporations involved. Lastly, regarding the rule about honoring my parents, I would like to tell you a little bit about my family. I am so thankful for my parents, sister, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins. They always have my back, and I feel their support daily. The way I regard Leviticus as the heart and center of the Torah, I think my mom as the heart and center of our family. And she also has a lot of rules for us. I have to thank my mom for everything she does for us daily. My dad works hard and long hours, but still has time for me. He joined me on my biking routes, and we had a lot of fun together. My sister has a lot of energy. She makes me listen to Disney pop music every morning in the car on the way to school. But it's okay. I wouldn't know about the love triangle between Olivia Rodrigo, Joshua Bassett, and the other. Mila is funny and she's a good friend to me. Thanks for being there for me, Mila. Even when we argue, it's good to have you around. Gaga and Grandma, you make us so many dinners and fun celebrations. I love coming to your house to relax. I enjoy learning about the stock market and bird watching with Grandpa. I love playing Scrabble and baking with Gaga. I look forward to more fun trips and vacations with you when we can travel again safely. Papa and Lola, you are great beach ladies, and I look forward to those trips to Brightsville Beach as well. We have had many Passovers at your house, and I'm pretty good at buying coffee cones. I have to thank you especially for the time you put into reviewing with me and joining me as I prepared for this day. I enjoyed the time with you, and I'm starting to pretend I got a little sleepy during our study. Thank you to my family who has traveled to be here. Thank you to my friends who came today to support me. Also, thank you to the rabbi and community, TV, religious school teachers, and faculty. Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, Theo, that was so beautiful. And as you discussed in that beautiful and thoughtful Torah, this has been such an unusual time to become a bar mitzvah. And I'm sure that the celebration is not how you or your family envisioned it when we started planning for it more than 2 years ago. But you have navigated this journey with characteristic patience and perseverance, gentleness and joy, light and laughter. And as a result, you've accomplished something significant, meaningful, and lasting. I hope fond memories of this sacred moment and the path you took to get here will always lift you up and sustain you. You celebrate your becoming a bar mitzvah during Sfirat HaOmer, the 7-week period between Pesach and Shavuot, a time marking the Israelites' journey from Egypt to Sinai, from enslavement to Pharaoh to covenant with God. According to the Torah, when our ancestors left Egypt, God didn't lead them to the promised land by the way of the land of the Philistines, although it was nearer. It strikes me that this is less a geographical observation than a spiritual one. The Hebrew phrase for way of the land, derech eretz, can refer to a physical route, but it's also often used as an idiom, meaning the culture, practices, or prevailing customs of a people or place. Also, it's meant to mean man. I think that if you're a person with a lot of derech eretz. And similarly, nearer can denote physical as well as emotional proximity. Another way to understand the same verse might be God did not permit the Israelites to become at ease with Philistine culture, even though it was more accessible or more innate. What was Philistine culture? And in what way were the Israelites susceptible to its lure? A Hasidic master, Rabbi Kalanimus Kalman Halevi Epstein, known colloquially by the title of his book, Ma'or Shemesh, teaches that Philistine culture is synonymous with the Yetzer Hara, literally the evil instinct, that part of our nature that is inclined toward self-centeredness and selfishness. As Master Yoda says of the dark side of the Force, the Yetzer Hara is quicker, easier, more seductive than its altruistic counterparts, the Yetzer HaTov. According to this view, in order to be able to heed God's commanding voice at Sinai, each Israelite had to first learn how to control and overpower their selfish instinct. After all, Torah at its core calls us to transcend our own desires in the service of repairing the world. To receive Torah, walk in its paths, we must cease to be at ease with our selfish inclination. Becoming a bar mitzvah means stepping up to a life of walking the path of Torah. And living into our sacred responsibilities as Jewish adults requires us to see beyond ourselves, thinking of others' needs and considering how we can be of service, lifting others up and strengthening our society as a whole. Theo, it strikes me that you were born into this responsibility. As your parents said, as was so clearly reflected in your Devar Torah, you are sweet and caring, extremely mindful of how your actions impact others, constantly concerned with the well-being of those around. Your Yetzer HaTov, your inclination for the good, is already so well known. As Yoda might say, stronger you with the light side of the Force. I pray that you see those qualities as the gifts they are, and that you nurture them as core values in the years ahead, cementing them as the primary ways you encounter the world. That is the pathway to a life of blessing for yourself and for everyone whose life you will touch. Your robust Yetzer HaTov was evident in the gorgeous Devar Torah you just shared. As a person who's deeply sensitive about what is right and good, who instinctively wants to help others as much as possible, alleviating their pain and doing anything possible not to contribute to their suffering, you wondered how it could be that some of the Torah's laws no longer seem to be relevant in our time, and some of the Torah's laws appear to contradict contemporary standards of morality, and that two people might look at the same commandment in radically different ways, with one person adopting a harmful interpretation and another accepting a helpful one. As a result, you rightly pointed out something that is so evident in our time, that people can do extraordinary good and unparalleled evil, both in the name of the same tradition. And you taught us that in your parasha, the Torah itself gives us a methodology for properly interpreting its rules. Kedoshim tiyu, ki kadoshim Adonai Elohecha. You shall be holy, for I, the infinite your God, am holy. You must strive to be morally exceptional, coming as close as you can to being like God, who is perfectly just and good. Only when we interpret the Torah's teachings in a way that is in the best interest of others do we uphold what our traditions truly meant. In essence, you were teaching us to look critically at the rules we're expected to live by in order to determine if they are, in fact, moral. Just because something is a rule doesn't mean it's right. As we were studying your parsha, your insights kept on bringing me back to words that the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. wrote in 1963 when he was in jail in Birmingham, Alabama, for peacefully protesting segregation, which was the law of the land at the time. He said, "We should never forget that everything Adolf Hitler did in Germany was legal, and that it was illegal to aid and comfort a Jew in Hitler's Germany. We should, of course, strive to live by the law, but our primary loyalty should be to the overarching moral principle, you shall be holy. When a rule seems to contradict that principle, we have a responsibility to interpret it and practice it in such a way that enables us to be holy. If we can't do that, then we actually are obligated to break the rule, even sometimes to disobey the law. As King taught, one has not only a legal but a moral responsibility to obey just laws. Conversely, one has a moral responsibility to disobey unjust laws. Better still, we can diligently and passionately agitate and advocate to ensure that all of our society's rules are in line with the principle of godly goodness and justice. That, I think, is the reason the commandment that you rightly call the heart of the Torah, you shall be holy, is given in the plural. Kedoshim tihiyu. All y'all shall be holy. A message that's underscored by the fact that God takes the unusual step of commanding Moses to teach this rule to Kol Adat B'nai Yisrael, the whole community, together. It's not enough for each of us as individuals to help others and protect them from harm, although that's certainly important. We all must also work together to ensure ours is a society in which the equal and infinite dignity of every person is upheld. A thoroughly and steadfastly just and equitable society. This means none of us alone can complete the work of holiness, but also the work can never be complete without each and every one of us being involved. If any one of us sits on the sidelines, or if any one person is left out of our sphere of concern, then we as a whole have not fulfilled and cannot fulfill this obligation. I can't help but feel that as we celebrate your bar mitzvah in this particular moment, a moment when we are confronting anew the scourge of systemic racism, manifesting police violence against people of color, mass shooting after mass shooting, and a deadly pandemic that has disproportionately impacted minority communities. At all times, but especially in this time, the Torah you taught and the Torah you intuitively live is Torah we so deeply need to hear and heed. As you become a bar mitzvah, the responsibility to be holy in the ways you taught and to contribute to building a holy society in the way I just shared is now also on your shoulders. I pray you will strive to uphold that sacred obligation all the days of your life. You're blessed to have parents and grandparents who model those commitments. I pray that they continue to teach you and that you continue to learn from them. You have a loving community who share in those commitments. You're now an adult member of this community, and I pray that you will stay involved in our congregation so that you can continue to inspire others and so that they can challenge and encourage you. I pray that you continue to teach us through your Torah, and more importantly, by your example, to care for and lift up others, helping to make our world more holy and more whole. May you go from strength to strength. I invite you to come to the middle of the bima. Maybe your parents can join. Maybe place your hands on your head or shoulders as we offer this blessing. Join hands with us, tenderly get us started. The Holy One bless you and protect you. May the infinite smile upon you and dwell close by you. May the Holy One look upon you with favor and grant you peace. Amen. All is well. We'll continue now with, as Theo leads us in the Musaf service, which can be found beginning on page 184 in our prayer book. It's customary to rise. Yamda begins page 185.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Eloheinu Hamelech Yitzhak Eloheinu Kuvel Yisrael Eloheinu 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 Hagadol Hakibor Hagara El Gomil Hasadim Elohim Elohim Hako Ezocher Paseyado Umebigo Elohim Mehem Mashenu Be'ahava Amelech Mekotzir Uvashia Baruch atah Adonai Yiracham Uvokei Sarah Atah Gurle Lamadem Mechayim Tihatara Leoshia Mary Atah Echakel Hayim Bechesed Bechayim Etiv Berachamim Rahim So Mechofim Perfect Holy Umatir Asurim Umekayim Emunato Vishenei Achad Mikamo Chadal Gevuro Umiro Melah Melachim Umekayim Umatzmiach Yeshua B'ne'eman Akal Shiamin Hamaptishim Shimcha Bakodesh Kakatu Al Yaviyecha Vekor HaZeh Amar Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzedakah Malko Ha'artz Kevodo, Kevodo Malei Olam, Zertav Sholeim Zelazem, Aye Mekom Kevodo, L'matam Baruch Yomiru, Baruch Kevodo Minkomo, Minkomo, Uyeten Derachami, Bechon Hayachad Nim Shemu Erev, V'kir B'chayim Amin Be'ava Shema Umrani.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Echad. Hu Eloheinu, Hu Avinu, Hu Malkeinu, Hu Mashinu, Vehu Yashminu Berachamav, Sheni Kleine Kolcha. Vehu Yashmienu Berachamav, Sheni Kleine Kolcha. Lechiot Lechem Elohim,
Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Ani Adonai Elohechem, U'Divrei Kedushecha Ketuv Leomar. Hallelujah.
Amen.
The Holy Trail. Adam, Amin, Din Shammai, Beirut,
Amen.
Shalom, Rabbi Shemaya, B'chai Noe, Al Israel, Beirut,
Amen.
Oh, say Shalom, Beirut, we gotta say Shalom, everyone. They're all Holy Trail, Beirut, Amen.
205.
Amen. Shall be able
The true dominion is yours, and you will rule in glory until the end of time. This is written in the Torah. The infinite will reign forever and ever. May be seated. This Shabbat, the 12th Yar, we love to recall the memories of Rhoda Flax, David Sporn, Leonard Bertland, Eva Schreibfeder, Beatrice Schur, Samuel Artis, Earl J. Zoll Jr., Samuel Burbs, Samuel Michael Brook, Louis Reising, Alan Dollinger, and Skylar Logano. We continue to mourn the recent passings of Samuel Lapton, Sylvia Rosenbaum, Dr. Jack Samuel Hirsch, Sarah Josepher Alderman, Michael Stephen Shear, and Serena Dolly Moline. Are there other names to add of any insights that we may have missed? Please feel free to unmute yourself if you're joining us virtually to share any names that we need to add, or if there are others within the congregation in person, please feel free to let us know. I'm assuming that I can't hear, but that nobody is offering additional name. So we'll bring the memories of all those we recall this Shabbat and be a source of blessing, as those this morning, and those that are your takes, and all the worship take Kaddish Rise if you're able. Unmute yourselves as you're willing for the Morning's Kaddish, page 207. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Ve'alma, Dibra, Kiruteh, Ve'almich Machuteh. B'chayechon, V'yomechon, V'chayei, Jehov Beit Yisrael, V'agala, V'zman Kavi, V'yibru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach, Ve'olam Amei Amayam. Yibarach, Yishabach, Yibahar, Yichobam, Yinaseh, Yidagar, Yidaleh, Yidalal, Shirei, Yisha, Brichu, Ve'ela, Yikober Chata, V'shirata, Tishachata, Nechamata, Damiranga, Alma, Yibru, Amen. Yehi, Shlama, Rabba, Min Shemaya, Chaim Alinu, Ve'al Yisrael, Yibru, Amen. Oseh Shalom, Ramah, Hu Yaseh Shalom. Alinu, Ve'al Yisrael, Yibru, Amen. May the one who makes peace on high, make peace for us, for all Israel, and for all who dwell on earth. And let us say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, and also again to Theo and to the entire Hirsch family. Beautiful job today. All of your hard work has paid off. I'm very proud of you, proud of yourself. And thanks to everyone who participated in our services today and made them so lovely, both in person and virtually. Lots happening at Temple Bethel over the next 2 weeks. Please take a look at your Shabbat announcements and also online so you can be up to date with what's going on. Beginning tomorrow evening, where we have a special guest speaker, Dr. Shana Weiss, who is the Associate Director of the Shushman Center for Israel Studies at Brandeis University and an expert on Israeli TV film. We'll be talking about Black is the New Black, which will cover the surge in interest in Israeli television and film in the Haredi ultra-Orthodox community, shows like Shtisel and others. So it will be really, really a great conversation, Q&A to follow. That's at 7 p.m. Virtually register for that online. Hopefully you'll join us for that. Lots, of course, of other things happening over the next 2 weeks. So please take a look at your Shabbat announcements and the website and join us for as many opportunities as possible. I want to thank Ari and Theo Hirsch for the technology package upgrade for this morning so that we could broadcast this service and be joined by virtual participants as clearly and as crisply as possible. We continue to thank you for your patience as we navigate this new terrain of hybrid services. One final announcement is that as we conclude our services this morning, I want to remind folks that our COVID protocols remain in effect even after the service has ended. So please be mindful of social distancing guidelines, etc. We ask that you not congregate in the aisles or bunch up in clusters. You are welcome, of course, to greet each other, but you might have more space and more comfort outside. It continues to be a beautiful day today, so we invite you to avail yourself of all the space that there is to use. We'll continue on page 211 with Adon Olam. Mila is going to join us to lead us in Adon Olam with harp and with Theo's beautiful voice, page 211.
You to rise as you're able. And let you, if you're with folks in the household pod, whether in person or virtually, if you're near folks, invite you to arm your arms around them. If you're not, I invite you to just hold our community and each other in our hearts as we pray. Yevarecha Adonai Yishmerecha. Ya'er Adonai Panav Elecha V'Chodecha, Yisa Adonai Panav Elecha V'Yasem Lecha Shalom. Amen.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Oh, yes, please stay on for the for a montage. Oh, sorry. Wow, who is that? Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. Beautiful service.
Shabbat shalom and mazel tov, Hirsches and Tronfelds.
Mazel tov, beautiful job, beautiful devar, beautiful harp playing, a pleasure. Mazel tov, it was wonderful.
Okay, you ready to leave?
Mazel tov, Hirsch family.
Bye, David Ruby. I'll see you at home.
Shabbat shalom, everybody, and mazel tov to the Hirsch family.
Okay.
It's about that, it's about a drummer. Yeah. Thank you.
I don't think they've gone, the heart's still here.
Yeah, I guess like, I'm trying to think of like the Washington, like, it's just probably happening. It is disruptive, right? So that's what it is. So, yeah. So this is all good. This is all good.